Hello, everyone. Today we are at Source Track Studio.
To find out what happened to David.
I quit my day job to run my studio full time.
Wait, he's not coming back? I thought he was on vacation.
It's been a really good vacation.
Welcome to Unfiltered. I'm Tay. This is Jay, and this was David. Today we are around the drum today.
Tay, there's no drum.
Oh, yeah. I forgot it. How about this?
All right.
Okay, and now we're on the drum to find out why David pulled the cord on working 9 to 5 at his day job to run his own studio. So we've got some major questions for you, David. But first, give us a little history about yourself and Source Track Studio itself.
Well, some people know a little bit about me in the studio from my unfiltered days.
Yep.
But I'll take it back to when I started recording.
Back in the day.
Yeah. So when I was going to college, I needed to find a major, and I liked music. I was originally going to go for performance, but I couldn't do performance and recording, and I thought recording sounded really cool because I wanted to record my band. So I was just like, oh, I'll just try recording. Don't pick a major like that.
Well thought out.
But I got really lucky and ended up falling in love with recording and just being a huge nerd with it. And I started recording bands at the school studio, including my own bands. And then in 2017, fast forward a little bit, 2017, I actually officially started the studio business. Just kept getting better and better. Purchased some courses online after I graduated even about mixing for my favorite producers. And then I just got to the point where I had too many projects lined up for the summer, and I didn't know how I was going to do it all, along with some family stuff I had going on, and work a day job. I was up one night until like 3 a.m., and Kayla got up, and my wife, she got up, and she's like, hey, you okay? I was like, no, I don't know what I'm going to do. She's like, well, just do the studio. We'll be okay. So sorry, guys. She pushed me out of the doors.
No.
But it was kind of a tough decision because I really liked my job, and I learned so much more from working at Pixel than I did in all my years of school. And
That's how it goes. Even for me, I went to Full Sail. As soon as I was done with school, I really started learning things. Like as soon as I was working in a studio and just immersed in, recording and all the things around it. So even working at a music store or, working on videos and stuff like you were doing with us, repairing things.
That's where I learned a lot.
You learn so much about sound and how to be a good engineer. And so
just by understanding how things work, like signal flow, and even inside the gear too, it's pretty incredible. And that's, like you said, immersed in it. That's another reason I just had to step away, because for the past 4 years, I've been working at Pixel 40 hours a week, doing the studio 20 to 40 hours a week, sometimes 60 hours a week on top of it. I was doing some 100-hour weeks. I was getting burned out really bad. It was just too much recording all the time.
Yeah.
So I had to pick one, and I figure I might as well do it now, because if I don't do it now, I'll regret it in 10 years.
Do you feel like your studio, and the things in it, were ready for you to make this decision? Or obviously it's always an evolution. Things are changing with gear and everything. But were you in a good spot with what you had as terms of gear, or that didn't play a factor at all?
It originally played a factor. I was getting burned out long before I left. But I was like, but I want so much more gear. And then when, like, the last month of my employment, I was thinking, like, I want a lot of gear, yes, but I'm making really good records right now. And nothing's going to stop me from buying more gear when I make money from bands recording here. So I was like, I've got to do it. I mean, I'm making good records now. Of course I want more gear, more preamps and stuff, but I'll get there.
Was there anything that you regret not obtaining before you made this jump?
Jay and I were just talking about this. Cable prices have gone through the roof.
Yeah.
So, cables.
And that's one of those things where you don't want to spend time and money on it. You just want it to be there and work.
Yeah.
And it's more fun to get, outboard gear or microphones and all that stuff than it is cables and microphone stands.
Yeah, those are the two least sexy things to buy. And I don't know.
You need them.
You really do. Yeah, and I wanted something like a better amp for the NS10s and a few different mics. But I was like, oh, I'll get those later. It's fine. Well, once I didn't have a steady paycheck, I realized how much I relied on just the studio income for studio gear. Yeah, that was my fun money, and now it's like, this is pay your bills money.
Yeah. It's switched over.
Yeah. I mean, I've got an old car that I've been working on a lot this summer, and I put money into that when I could have purchased gear. But, it's nice to have a little break from audio once in a while, and it's good to put my money into that sometimes rather than get more cables.
What kind of bands do you record now? Is it anybody that wants to, or do you kind of have like a niche kind of band?
So my first rule is that, this is in my house. This is the second floor of my house, and my whole life is here. My wife is here. My pets are here. My wallet is here. Everything. My whole life is here. So I've got to record people I trust.
Yeah.
I only take on projects where it's people that I trust. I've gotten to the point where people seek me out. So I'm in demand around here, but I only work with people that I want to work with and feel comfortable around, like them coming into my house.
Yeah.
That's my biggest criteria. Second is I don't do country or hip hop / rap. I'm just not.
That's a preference. Right?
Yeah, well, I'm not in that world, and somebody else can do a much better job than I can. I'm more into, let's get some real drums, real guitars, bass, keyboards, vocals, stuff like that. And
That's the way to do it.
I can do that so much better. So I might as well serve those people better. So as far as styles, I've been doing a lot of indie lately. That's going well.
Okay.
But I like to focus on rock and metal, and I've done some ska as well.
And like going back to how you choose people to record, and now, I mean, I assume I would speak for you. You like to bring in people that you know, and that's not against people you don't know. You just it's a you, not them thing, and so like So get to know David before.
Exactly.
You know?
When
How do people get to know you then?
When people reach out to me on my website, I have a contact form. I always say, hey, let's meet up and talk about your project.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons. One, I want to meet them at a coffee shop, see what kind of coffee they like.
That's important.
Yes. But I want to meet them to make sure it's someone that doesn't seem a little sketchy. If it's someone offering me drugs in a coffee shop, no thanks, I'll pass. But I want to get to know them, and they can get to know me a little bit. And then I just want to see if it's going to be a good fit. Like if it's a project where I'm not 100% on it, like I don't really want to do it, I'll send them to one of my friends who does it and can do a better job, and we'll be more enthusiastic about it.
Sure, right. Be more into it, and that's better for the client, the customer too, to get a better experience.
Yeah, and then the first day that they're here, when they're loading up, we're typically setting up drums. So I make sure that I do things that makes them trust me, like tuning the drums in front of them, and when I mic up cymbals, I do the overhead thing, and just show them that I care about your project.
Yeah.
And then the next day we start tracking, and then by that point they're already really comfortable with me and they trust me.
That's a good point, because you want to have that good relationship between the engineer and the client to have a better experience overall.
Yeah, my favorite thing about my job is that I get to make awesome friends.
Yeah.
And I get to show people how awesome they are through the speakers. Yeah. But I'm such a people person. I love just hanging out with people and making music. It's the dream.
Sweet. So things are going great right now. You're busy. You've got projects. What would be the next step for Source Track Studio? A different space, different gear?
Yeah, I think the end goal is to have a commercial location where I can, for one, charge more. And bands pay a pretty decent amount to record with me right now. But if I'm at a commercial location, I can do some advertising and more people will know about me. And then I don't have to worry about things happening. Like we had a break-in, or someone almost broke in the middle of the night a few months ago. And I don't really like that.
I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, so a commercial location would make me feel a lot safer. Like my worst nightmare is to have somebody break in and something happen to my wife. That's my worst nightmare. So if this stuff can be somewhere else, You know, it's just stuff. And if someone breaks in, I'll have security measures, obviously, but it's not life-threatening at that point.
Right.
But a commercial location, and then some more preamps. I want to have a nice 500 rack full, and then maybe get some outboard gear for mixing.
Cool.
But otherwise, I feel like I'm pretty set.
I only see one distressor in there, David.
You need at least 3.
I want to get in total 2 distressors and a fatso, so I can have kick and snare going through it while I'm tracking, and then a fatso for running a kick and snare through while mixing.
Nice.
When you
That sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
so you're using a lot of gear tracking, outboard gear tracking.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that you mentioned to us that you mix in the box. So would that change, or you just that's the way you like it?
That's the way I like it, because recall. I work with a lot of bands that come from Madison or Milwaukee. You know, they drive across the state to work with me. And if I can't have their project exactly the way they want it to be, then I'm going to lose clients.
Yeah.
So if I can recall easily and do a quick revision, send it off, it's done. But I was talking to Jay about this a few days ago, last week or whatever. There's some outboard gear that allows you to control it like a plugin, but it still is outboard gear. So Wes Audio, I think the Dione, that's the one I want to get. It's a stereo bus compressor. That's the first one I want to get, and I want to run my whole mix through that. And then eventually I'll get another one and run my drums through that, and yeah.
Nice. Okay. Cool. What about mobile? Would you ever consider taking Source Track Studio mobile and having that kind of set up to go to places that can't come here?
Yeah, so I also started a podcast the last few months, David Pitola Podcast. There's the logo. You can get mugs on the merch store.
He has a really nice merch store. It's very well done.
So for the podcast, I've got that Audient interface. I've taken to a few locations and recorded with that. In the next month, we're recording my band again, but at this time I want to take some of my 500 series stuff and record with that rather than using the PreSonus preamps. At the practice space, we've got a PreSonus Studio Live mixer. They're fine.
Okay.
But it's really hard to make the drums sound as lively as it is in here with the board and all those nice preamps. So if I can take some 500 stuff with me, I'm going to get a better sound up front. And the reason we want to record there is twofold. The drums, like the kit, will literally not fit in my live room.
But he's got so much stuff.
Yeah,
so
it's
cymbals.
like 13 cymbals, 14 cymbals, 5 toms. It's huge.
That's crazy.
But also the concrete room that we practice in sounds amazing. So if we can get that room sound, it's it's so good.
Okay, nice.
So the answer is kind of for the mobile thing. I'd really like to just keep it here because I know this room and my mix room so well. And when I get a commercial location, I won't have to worry about that, like taking it places, because people will just come to me then. But kind of. It's nice to have that Audient as my main interface so I can take it if I need to.
Nice.
So what have been your biggest challenges? You know, I've done what you've done, which is quit my day job and started a business. I started Pixel Pro Audio. And so I've been there. And for me, it was dealing with my time management, figuring out what to do each day. Like, what have the challenges been for you now that you don't have a 9 to 5 and you wake up in the morning and it's just on you to figure out what you got to do?
That was a challenge at first, time management, because like I said, I was burned out, and this summer I just really wanted to enjoy it. So I worked on I've got a 1953 Packard. I worked on that a lot. I got it ready for car shows, and I probably spent too much time doing that.
It sounds like a nice break, though.
It was so needed. And it's running great now, and I drive it around sometimes. So that's cool. I got it to where I wanted it to for this summer anyway. But now that car shows are done, I can focus more on the business. And I should really write down a schedule, but it's so dependent on what I'm doing that week. If I've got a session for tracking or get mix revisions done. So I use my calendar on my phone for everything.
That's good.
Even if we have a date night, I put that in my phone because I don't want to forget anything. And now I'm so busy, I just don't have enough time for everything. So I can't really plan it, but I can't forget it either if it's in my calendar. So I just do whatever's on the docket for the day.
Okay.
Another challenge, probably my biggest challenge, has been my physical fitness. I'm not as fit as I wanted to be, mostly because the gym that was down the road closed down, and it's only in Appleton now. Appleton, Wisconsin. And so getting there takes more time, and it's like, oh, I can't really justify it now because I'm going to spend another half hour driving in total versus, oh, I can get these mix revisions done. So I'm sitting all the time now, and my physical fitness directly correlates to how well I do my job. If I work out my muscles, if I just beat the crap out of them and exercise, I can stay focused on what I'm doing, no problem. But if I haven't worked out in a couple days, I'm getting jittery. I'm like, oh, I just need to move, but I've got to get this work done. So that's been the biggest challenge.
Well, it's good that you identified that.
Yeah.
And know that.
For me, I'm the same way, and I had to put my workout as part of my schedule. I'm much more regimented than you, though, and I can do that because my job's a lot different than yours. My job doesn't vary as much day to day, but I write everything down from start of the day to the end of the day, what I'm going to do, and exercise is part of that.
Yeah, you have to. It clears your head, too. We just got a treadmill, and I like to read, too. I've been reading a lot of books this year. So what I did this morning is going to be my new regimen. I walk on the treadmill for 20 minutes while I read.
Nice.
2 birds with 1 stone, and then I'm ready to go for the day.
There you go.
Blood is flowing, and I can think properly.
Yeah, but it brings my anxiety down, everything. Like, I think exercise is a huge part of, like, just being well balanced.
Yeah.
This is all of a sudden an exercise mental health podcast, but
Yeah.
whatever.
It directly correlates with
yeah.
what we're talking about, though.
Yeah.
You
It
can't
does.
run a business if your mental health is not well. Like, if you're not dedicated to just bettering your mind and body, your business is not going to go well.
Yep, it helps keep the mind clear.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it does. I think it does have significance and relevance to what we're talking about. And then you've had to figure that out, and you've identified some things that work for you now. And obviously, you could find out more things that work better and adjust that as you go along. But that's definitely a pro tip, especially socially. It's been focused on a lot lately, mental health, and that's a huge thing just around the country and the nation. So it's definitely relevant. So
Yeah, and I think exercise improves mental health better than anything else.
I agree.
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. We
So-
covered it. Yep.
Do you think Jay and Tay get the Jay and Tay discount rates if we come in the studio?
Sure.
Now I just broke his microphone.
No, that one's ours.
Oh, thank God.
That one's his. David, this is David's SM7b.
Yeah, you can tell it's mine because of the cat fur on here.
Oh yeah, nice. That's a good touch. Good aesthetic touch. Thank you, David, for having us here. This place is awesome and amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for doing this video.
Yes, and everyone at Pixel Pro Audio greatly misses you. We're super happy for you that you are living the dream, going after this, and we're grateful that you were a part of our team for as long as you were. So nothing but goodness from us.
Well, thanks, man. That actually means a lot.
If you guys have any questions for David, leave them in the comments below. If you like what he's doing here and what he's got going on, smash that like button. David, give us your shameless plug contact info.
Well, you can find me at sourcetrackstudio.com. That's where you can check out my work. It's the studio website. You can contact me there. Or if you want to hear a podcast about music business, check out the David Pidala podcast. There's a link below. You don't have to spell my last name. Just click that link. And got a lot of good guests on there. So that's where you can find me. So now that I'm on my own, I'm not part of the company. Does this mean I qualify for Pixel Pro Audio's giveaways?
Absolutely not. However, you have a great studio here. You're doing just fine with the gear you have.
You don't need any more.
You don't need any more, but everyone else should sign up for our free giveaways. You sign up once, you're in forever. You're signed up for every giveaway we do. That's a great deal.
When can we come over and see your studio?
I think we're going to yours next.
Well, I got a few things to do to get in order, but yes, we did. And speaking of studio tours, we just filmed one with David here at Source Track Studio. So click the link below to see that video. Otherwise, I'll put it up here. We'll do mine after a little while. So look for that in the next couple of months, and then I'll nudge Jay and get him to get his studio up to par so we can go over there too someday.
He's going to get a Neve console with the most
Yes.
expensive converters money can buy.
That's right. No, could my studio be just the Pixel Pro Audio Studios?
No. Well, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the drum next time.